Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? You guys doing good too? I'm doing good too. Let's get into today's video session. Here we go. Welcome back to my session on Nintendo Switch. I have great news for you. Woo! Yeah! Welcome back to my video session today. So how you guys doing out there today? I hope you're doing fine today. So in today's session, right, we're going to be talking about Nintendo Switch. Which Nintendo Switch are we talking about here? The Nintendo Switch we got right now. Because we know the Nintendo Switch we got right now, they are going to be releasing Nintendo Switch Pro, and but that's going to take quite a while. It will take at least 3 years to release a Nintendo Switch Pro. I don't know if you know about this. It was being said that Nintendo Switch without upgrade, without upgrade, okay? We're talking about here. Without the upgrade, you know what's going to happen? You probably don't know this, but I'm going to tell you something really important. Nintendo Switch without upgrade. What does it mean? That means the system we got right now is something about that. This system will surpass Nintendo Wii and Nintendo DS sales. That's what it means. That's not possible, but it's going to happen. It's just going to happen because this system, Nintendo Switch, is even selling faster than Nintendo Wii. If you look at the same life cycle that Nintendo Wii had, it was fast. It was selling really fast, but it's unbelievable. But Nintendo Switch is selling even faster now. It's incredible, this is, isn't it? It will surpass Nintendo DS and Nintendo Wii sales. Just like that, instantly. This is such a big thing that nobody was expecting, but it's not just about Nintendo DS and Nintendo Wii. Because if we look at the sales of Nintendo DS, Nintendo Wii, they're pretty high, man, aren't they? We can't just aim at themselves straight away. Let's go for it and let's go and beat them. We need to see how this whole lineup of systems are going to get beaten. It's such a incredible what's going to happen with this Nintendo Switch without an upgrade. If you read few articles, right, it was saying that it will surpass Nintendo DS and Nintendo Wii without upgrade, man. This is such a big thing, right? You guys were never were expecting. Boom, 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 boom. Woo! Okay, so this is such a big thing is going to happen. I am very convinced to get this information for to you guys out there. The This system without upgrade is totally insane. I don't believe it. What's going on, but this system is a big threat. The Nintendo Switch we got right now, I'm talking about this one. Man, I don't know what's coming with the Nintendo Switch Pro. That's gonna be an even bigger threat than this one. But this one, the one we got right now, is a bigger threat than anything else. It's crazy. But you'll understand what I'm trying to say here, right? Nintendo Switch will surpass DS and Wii sales. Not only the DS and Wii, it's gonna surpass many of them. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. So we're gonna carry through this session. How does this whole process work? I mean, if we're talking about DS and Wii, it's really easy to understand what's really gonna happen. It's gonna finish off every single system out there. All of them. I'm not like to you. Every single one of them. The Nintendo Switch we got right now. Yeah. Oh, oh. It's really insane, but it's going to happen. If you guys didn't know that, but it's a really big thing. It's a big bang, and it's gonna conquer every single games console. So let's look at this. Games console sells between 70 to 90 million. These are the consoles that achieved sales between 70 to 90 million. Alright? It's going to beat all of these games consoles really soon. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna go in alphabetic order how they're gonna be beaten, and I'm gonna tell you all the sales in the right order. Okay, here we go. The first one is going to be Nintendo 3DS. 75.94 million sales. This is the next system which is very close to get beaten. Of course, it's Nintendo's own system, but it's gonna get beaten. Nintendo 3DS was a dual screen system which had a stylus, and on the top screen there was a depth 3D slider which gave you real 3D graphics. That's what this system was doing. You can play this game either with non-3D or 3D graphics. The choice was yours. So this is one of them systems. Next one. Sony PSP. 80 to 82 million sales. This system was using UMD discs, similar to mini discs. Sony company bought films and games on this thing. The system is pretty advanced, a lot of games, and so on and so on. It was pretty interesting. It was doing stuff like photos, music, videos. You had all these multimedia features. On top of that, you could watch movies and games on UMD discs. Okay. Nintendo Game Boy Advance. This one was 81.51 million sales. Okay, now Nintendo Game Boy Advance. is everybody knows what was on this system. It was using a cartridge, and there were a lot of games on the system. From Super Mario Advance, Donkey Kong, F-Zero, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Revival, Street Fighter 3, Tekken Advance, Sega Rally, Tokyo Boy Challenge, GT Advance, and so on. Yeah, a lot of quality games. And even the Sonic Advance 1, 2, and 3, yeah, and stuff like that. This was another system that was very, very impressive. Microsoft Xbox 360. This one has 84 million. So this is Microsoft's own system. It had all multimedia playback, and he played games. And had a hard drive. It's a pretty interesting system. He had games like Halo, Halo 5 Guardians, Forza, Gears of War, and so on. It was an interesting system. He had stuff like that. So there you have it. Sony PlayStation 3. 87.4 million sales. So this system had Blu-ray technology. You could watch Blu-ray movies and games on the system. You had games like Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Tekken 6, Ridge Racer 7, Devil May Cry 4, Street Fighter 4, and so on. You had stuff like that. Now, if you look at all these systems, they come between 70 to 90 million. Nintendo Switch already has over 70 million sales. These systems, all of them are gonna get beaten. No joke. These are the next following systems: Nintendo 3DS, Sony PSP, Nintendo Game Boy Advance, Microsoft Xbox 360, Sony PlayStation 3. These will be all beaten. Incredible, isn't it? Because we just know it's got over 70 million. But the December month for Nintendo Switch, a lot of games on there released. And I reckon the company's made lots of sales in December alone as well. Quite a lot. Now the next lineup of consoles is big, big, big. Games consoles sales between 100 to 155 million. Yeah, these games consoles are next batch of to get beaten by the Nintendo Switch. For sure. Okay, let's see which ones we got on here. Nintendo Wii 101.63 million sales. So Nintendo Wii was a system using Bluetooth technology, which was using the Wii nunchuck remote control, which used Bluetooth in there to do all that stuff. In the wireless technology it was using, where you can use like the nunchuck as a shield, and you can use a remote as a sword. Where in some games you can use like a gun. It was a pretty incredible technology. Nintendo Wii was, and then there was exercise stuff. Then you got a dance mat to do your dancing moves. There was all sorts of things to this system. And party stuff, where all people get together, the families and all that. Nintendo Wii was a killer system by Nintendo. And it was by far the best-selling home console Nintendo ever made, called Nintendo Wii. Okay, next one is Sony PlayStation 1, 102.49 million sales. This system was responsible for some original games like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Tekken, Ridge Racer series, and Wipeout. He brought big games like that, and it was pretty impressive for Sony because the system did really well. Right. Next one is Sony PlayStation 4, 113.5 million sales. Will the sales actually increase on that? I doubt that because the system is finished. It's totally finished. Sony PlayStation 4 is dead. It's totally finished. So Sony PlayStation 4 released old remakes and new games like Yakuza Like a Dragon, Shenmue 3, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, Last of Us, and so on. It had stuff like that. It wasn't really impressive as our previous PlayStation consoles, I think, but it still achieved a lot of these sales because of they say that it's got Sony PS4 exclusives. I mean, I fail to understand how many exclusives did the Sony PS4 didn't even have. There weren't that many, and still it achieved a lot of sales, which is pretty bizarre and weird. Nintendo Game Boy and Game Boy Color achieved 118.69 million sales. Let's repeat that again. 118.69 million sales. Nintendo Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Wow, this was a proper top-notch games console by Nintendo. Responsible for big games as Super Mario Land, Super Mario Bros., which was on Game Boy Color. We had a game called I think Super Mario Bros. DX something, DX edition. It was like the version on the NES, the Super Mario Bros. That was on there as well. Street Fighter Alpha. It was pretty good on it actually, as an 8-bit version. Pokemon, Robocop. It gets that as well. Pretty cool games on this. I can't remember many of the games on this, but there's quite a lot on there. Quality system, by the way. So there you have it. Nintendo DS. Alright, top salesman. 154.02 million sales. Alright. So this system did really well. What was the main reason for succeeding? It was like some games were played with a stylus, dual screen, and then the flash card was responsible as well. Flash cards like R4DS, you get free content on it. With like Moonshell, you're getting stuff like photos, music, videos. You can play all that. Free DS games and emulators. It did all stuff like that. So this was a pretty interesting system. I mean, even games like Sonic Rush played on dual screen, where Sonic used to run from the top of the screen, then he used to come right to the bottom of the screen. He made use of the two screens. Sonic team did a good job on that. I mean, even games like Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart Circuit, where you got the game at the top screen and then you got the map. You can tell on the map where your car's going and you can see how is it traveling and all sorts of stuff in there. It was very helpful. So there you have it. Nintendo DS, a great games console. I owned that one. Sony PlayStation 2 155 million sales. Some say this is Sony's best system. I don't know about that if it is. I literally think just the first one's the best one, really. Yeah, I think Sony PlayStation 1 was Sony's best system. Yeah, the best classics and original games. He's never actually beaten them. Sony PlayStation is just on the sequels of PlayStation 1. He was just bringing sequels, really. There was nothing important to this system, really. It was just full of quantity. There's too many quantity on this system. That's why it got this sales out of it. Trust me, there was no quality in this system. It is based on sequels and quantity, and that's why it achieved 155 million sales. If I previously said it's gonna be the DS and Wii, I mentioned Nintendo Switch will surpass Nintendo Wii sales. If you compare Nintendo Wii, right, then you can surpass all the systems before Nintendo Wii. Yeah? Because you gotta understand Nintendo Wii got 101.63 million sales. And the previous systems before that is Nintendo 3DS, Sony PSP, Nintendo Game Boy Advance, Microsoft Xbox 360, Sony PlayStation 3. And then after that, Nintendo Wii comes. I did mention that it's gonna surpass that. So all the previous systems will be beaten first. And I also said Nintendo DS sales will be surpassed as well. Nintendo DS surpass sales. Now, if you look at the difference from Nintendo DS, 154.02, right? That's a pretty high sales. Now, look at the previous systems before Nintendo DS. Obviously, Nintendo Wii is previous as well. We've got Sony PlayStation, Sony PlayStation 4, Nintendo Game Boy, and Game Boy Color. Haven't we? So, if you're surpassing Nintendo DS, you will surpass them first. Munya. But Sony PlayStation 2's got 155 million sales. So what? What's the difference between Nintendo DS and Sony PlayStation 2? What's a big fuss? Nothing. Nintendo DS 154.02 million sales. Sony PlayStation 2 is only 155. It's nothing, man. There's not much of a difference. Okay? There's not much of a difference. If you look at all of this whole bracket from 70 to 155 million, all of these machines will be beaten. Every single one of them. If we can beat with Nintendo Switch, the Wii and the DS sales, we can beat the Sony PlayStation 2 as well. Yeah, that's definitely going to be beaten. At this full list, the highest one is 155 million. That's the highest one. But I'm thinking if we can achieve more than 155 million sales with Nintendo Switch, I'm thinking what will be the life cycle of Nintendo Switch sales going to be? I wonder what's it going to be, man. How high will it be compared to 155 million sales? Do you know something? If we look at, because today is the last day of this month, isn't it? Tomorrow it's Friday, 1st January 2021, isn't it? We're gonna have Nintendo Switch for 3 years, man. How many sales can Nintendo Switch achieve in 3 years? That's the question, isn't it? That's a big question. And then after 3 years, whatever the life cycle is, the Nintendo Switch Pro will be released. And the Nintendo Switch Pro will continue. But the point here is that if we got Nintendo Switch, then we got Nintendo Switch Pro, it's the same family. Yes, it is. It's the same. It's not a new machine. It's just a upgrade with a better hardware. It's the same Nintendo Switch we got right now. Nintendo Switch Pro is the same one to Nintendo Switch. It's just the same. It's just a family of the same Nintendo Switch. Okay, but it's more powerful. This is getting really out of hand now. If from today's date up to 3 years, we get a lot of sales. Okay, imagine that. We're gonna get a lot of sales for 3 years. All right. Then when 3 years has come, Nintendo Switch Pro comes. Then it continues from there. The sales continues from there. How long will Nintendo keep the Nintendo Switch Pro? Who knows? Maybe another 2 years? Maybe? If we are keeping this system for 3 years, we make a lot of sales of that. Nintendo Switch Pro comes. Then another 2 years from that. Approximately the full database, we're looking 5 years of the Nintendo Switch family. 5 years. Man, this is gonna make a lot of sales, man. That 155 million sales is nothing. We will beat the Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS, and then we will beat the record-breaking Sony PS2 sale, 155 million as well. That 155 million is nothing. If we look at Nintendo Wii is 101.63 million. Then we need to beat 154.02. Let's repeat this again. Nintendo Wii is 101.63. Nintendo DS is 154.02. And Sony PlayStation 2 is 155 million. These are all the three track records that Nintendo Switch needs to beat. And it will beat it. It's already got over 70 million. Sooner or later, we'll approach 80 million. Yeah, we'll approach 80 million, then 90, then 100 million, then over 100 million. It's going to keep on continuing. It's going to be unstoppable, man. The system keeps on selling too fast. Because I've even heard this month alone is sold too fast. I'll tell you one thing. It's unstoppable. That's what I have to say. The biggest question is, after all this Nintendo Switch family, what will the life cycle sales be? We don't know that yet. But it's going to be really big. That will include the Nintendo Switch Pro. And the final sales will be determined with Nintendo Switch Pro. Yeah, Nintendo Switch Pro. Nintendo Switch Pro will be the system to give us the full life cycle of the Nintendo Switch family. It works like that. It's going to be massive. This can be a massive story in world history of gaming history, man. In terms of games consoles, it's gonna be the biggest decade thing. Even the launch of Sony PS5 and Microsoft Xbox Series X, even they couldn't beat it. Even with the, the new year approaching 2021, they're not gonna be able to easily beat that. Nintendo Switch is not gonna be easily to be beaten. We don't know if it's ever gonna be beaten by them. I doubt it. The Sony PS5 and Microsoft Xbox Series X can never beat it. They're just dreaming, man, to beat this thing. There's too many people interested in the Nintendo brand, man. And lots of people know now Nintendo is going to release Nintendo Switch Pro. Is making the store even bigger. It's really important, isn't it? So I hope you guys understand what I'm saying here. Massive sales. Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch Pro. It's the same family, man. The same system. It's gonna be a blowout in sales, man. Can't wait to see what happens at the end of when Nintendo Switch Pro is gone as well. What happens after Nintendo Switch Pro? What happens? What kind of sales will be achieved? This is really interesting. So I hope you guys understand everything and it's been depth knowledge and you like my video today. Give your likes, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.